darkest nights, you're there beside me. The way and the light, you are leading me and guiding me through my darkest nights. You're there beside me. The way and the light, you are leading me and guiding me, and all the world will see it's you inside of me. And though I may fall down, you pick me up, it's getting better now. And all the world will see it's you inside of me. And though I may fall down, you pick me up, it's getting better now. I wanna be more like you every day, Lord, more like you. I wanna be someone you shine through, Lord, more like you. I wanna be more like you every day, Lord, more like you. I wanna be someone you shine through, Lord, more like you. I wanna be more like you every day, Lord, more like you. I wanna be someone you shine through, Lord, more like you. I wanna be more like you every day, Lord, more like you. I wanna be someone you shine through, Lord, and all more like you. And all the world will see it's you inside of me. And though I may fall down, you pick me up, shine across the world. And all the world will see it's you inside of me. And though I may fall down, you pick me up, shine across the world.
Welcome to the Expanding Your Search and Stopping for Directions podcast with Brent Bailey. And at the tech booth, Jody Cook-Bailey and Luke Cardio. We are growing our circles of connections and knowledge together with encouraging conversations and positive communications. And now, Brent Bailey.
Just 10 days away, folks. 10 days away from the actual Christmas holiday. Today is the 14th of December. We're just 10 days away from Christmas Eve. And we all know that at that point, you're pretty much in the throes of Christmas. Welcome, everybody, to Expanding Your Search and Stopping for Directions. I'm Brent Bailey, and I'm joined over at the tech booth right now by Jody and by Luke. And we've got a lot to talk about today. But before we do, I'm going to throw it on because this is important. On this day in 1977, December the 14th, 1977, was the release date of one of the greatest movies of the 1970s. Of course, I'm talking about John Travolta, his white leisure suit, and Saturday Night Fever.
Yes.
Saturday Night Fever came out this day in 1977.
Wow.
And I think I was 6 years old, but I remember my Uncle Mark, who's a pastor, had the album, and it was one of the first I'd ever seen. There was a few that were out, I'm sure there were. It was one of the first ones I ever saw that had the open jacket.
Yeah.
And on the inside was a big, like a poster size of John Travolta.
I remember.
Doing the pose.
Yep.
And so, anyway.
Yeah.
That should make us all feel older than we are.
Yeah, exactly.
But it does.
Yeah.
And my mom was crazy about John Travolta.
Was she?
Oh my gosh. We recorded the movie, had it on VHS.
Everybody's mom was probably crazy.
Probably.
John Travolta
That's
at the
true.
time.
Well, he had been a sweat hog up to that point, which was one of the guys on.
In Greece?
No, Welcome Back, Kotter.
Because I think Greece was after.
After,
so,
yeah.
That's right.
So anyway,
that's right.
so it was this
That's
day,
right.
1977.
Wow. I was 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Well.
didn't, yeah.
Anyway, so folks, as we're getting ready for Christmas, coming down, if you got all your Christmas shopping done yet, I hope that you have. There's just, you got a little bit left, but we're on the backside of 2022. 2020 is on its way out,
Yep.
and I know we're all thanking God for that. And our guest today is going to talk about how to make 2021 your best year up to now. So
Yeah.
we got a good show planned for you
yeah.
today. But anyway, what's
Excited.
going on around the country today? I know that it's Monday, so it's a
is.
state day. What is the state day today?
It is National Alabama Day.
Roll
Roll
Tide!
Tide!
Alabama.
Alabama. We've got family in Alabama.
We sure do. And actually,
And friends.
Yeah, that's the place that my life took a huge turn because my cousin
Yeah.
lives there. He's a surgeon. Of course, I say it all the time. I used to weigh about 400 pounds, and he did surgery on me and was able to. I was able to
Help you out.
completely live a different life.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm grateful to
healthier.
Alabama. So
Yeah.
it's beautiful down there.
It
if you've
is
never been
beautiful
down there,
down
it's my second or third favorite state.
Yeah.
Kentucky being
yeah, I was
first.
going to say Kentucky.
Florida being second.
Yeah.
Alabama's pretty close,
Pretty
right
close.
up there at the top.
Yeah,
They're
it
top
is
5 at
beautiful
least.
there. It is beautiful.
So happy Alabama Day, Roll Tide.
Yes,
All
Roll
right.
Tide.
What else is going on today?
Today, our food of the day is National Bouillabaisse Day.
That sounds like a
Bouillabaisse.
soup. Is it a
Bouillabaisse.
soup?
It is
sounds like
a
a soup.
soup.
Sounds
If
like a
you
soup.
love seafood,
Does it
This
sound
is-
like a soup?
It does sound like a
it
soup.
sounds like a soup to
It
you.
sounds like a soup.
Sounds like a
It
soup.
is. It's kind of like it's a seafood stew, a fish stew. So, yeah, and you know,
But it's not American.
See,
It's
I was
not.
going to say it sounds like a cold Russian soup.
it's not,
It sounds like it.
It does. Actually, yeah.
but it's not.
Comrade. It does.
is.
Right.
It is a French.
French.
Bouillabaisse.
all right.
Bouillabaisse.
We have to be saying it wrong then.
Yeah, I'm sure we're.
I'm sure
I'm
we're
sure if there are
butchering it.
people
I know.
French Canadian or French in general listening to us right now,
Right.
they're like, "You Yankees,
Exactly.
you
Well, you know what?
sound
I'm
terrible.
sorry.
You're
So-
butchering the language."
So, but it is, like I said, it's like a fish stew. What it consists of is the bony rockfish, saffron, fennel seed, and orange zest. So,
Well, the only pictures
yeah.
I could find of it online, it looks like there's mussels in there too, or
Yeah.
oysters or clams
Yeah,
or something. It
it's
looks like
whatever.
mussels to me.
Right.
Seafood stew.
So we could go to Epcot and
we could
you know,
go over.
sample
I
it out.
bet over at Chef Mickey's or Chez Mickey's,
Shea Mickey's.
they probably do have it over there.
Yes, I'm sure they do.
Looking at the faux Eiffel Tower.
the very short Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be in the distance.
Yeah, it
like you're
is.
looking at
It
it from
is.
across town.
Which one's bigger, that one or the one in Vegas?
Oh, the
Oh,
one in
the one in
Vegas.
Vegas.
One in Vegas, you can
Absolutely.
get on it. You can ride it to the top and look over the
Yes.
city.
And we could go back there and
We could.
And
I
probably
bet you they have
Vegas.
it.
I
They
bet do.
probably have it
They
there
probably
at
do.
the Eiffel Tower.
Yep. We were
Restaurant.
there just a little over a year.
You know, hey, listen, we're going to California for Christmas, so
it's always possible.
We could
It's
just
already kind of been
zip
discussed,
over there.
but, you know. I
Yeah,
don't know,
make
we'll
an
see.
Instagram video of you eating that soup.
the bouillabaisse.
I don't know because the food that they had at that restaurant was really.
Oh man,
I don't even remember.
that was
a
the
bouillabaisse.
most expensive meal I've ever had in my life, but it was so.
At the
And it was
Eiffel
for my
Tower?
birthday.
Eiffel Tower.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of the Michelin scale for restaurants?
Yes.
Okay, it's like exclusive. Like
Yeah.
if you have a 1-star on Michelin, that's like better than any 5-star regular restaurant in
Yeah.
the world. And so I think it's a 3-star. I'm pretty sure that's roughly what Gusteau's was based on in Ratatouille.
Yeah.
That scale, you know, he kept losing stars. This restaurant is the only Michelin star restaurant we've ever eaten at. It was a 1-star. It's in Vegas at the Eiffel Tower, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
I think that's what that. Have you ever heard of the documentary Jiro Dreams of Sushi?
I have
No.
not.
He's got a. It's a little sushi restaurant. It's about a little sushi restaurant in Japan that has a 5-star rating.
Wow.
A 5-star Michelin
5-star,
rating?
yeah,
Oh
I
my
believe
gosh.
it's that one.
Well, I don't know what I thought the highest was 3, but it may be 5. I don't know, but
it's something crazy like that where he's got one of the only restaurants to have that type of rating.
Yeah,
and it's
super rare to get.
The guy is like hyper focused on sushi, like it's crazy.
Interesting.
All right.
Interesting documentary. Maybe you guys should check it out.
All right. Well, today is also Monkey Day.
It is Monkey Day.
Not the band Monkey.
No,
this is where we bring in
not-
your
not
youngest
hanging
child.
with the monkeys.
Yeah, right. And it's not a Parents' Day where you look around at your kids seeing them jump all over the place.
Right. Monkeys jumping
It
over
is
there.
an actual monkey,
Yes.
and you're supposed to celebrate by going to a zoo or some place where they have monkeys. If you
you're-
live in South America or Mexico, they run wild.
Right
and
yeah.
you could just go out and look at them in your
Or
backyard.
Africa.
So it's not
Weren't there-
Chimp Day.
Oh, yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
Chimp Day. It's
Everywhere.
Monkey Day.
Monkey
Yeah,
Day.
or
Is
you
there a
could.
difference?
If,
There is. Chimps are considered one of the great apes. They're big.
yes.
Okay.
And then there's the orangutan and the gorilla. Those are the 3 great apes. Everything else falls in the monkey category, because they have tails and,
Yeah.
You're very knowledgeable about primates.
I was paid attention on that day in biology class. But a monkey...
And he loves bananas.
Yeah. Monkeys are the small, usually smaller, and they have a tail.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Like a bamboo or... bamboo. What are them things called?
Baboon.
Baboon, yeah.
Thank you.
Baboons
With
are
the red
considered...
butt?
Yeah, but they're considered a monkey.
Yes.
So...
Yes.
and they just kind of run around out there. So anyway, that's why folks say it's my kids. My kids are a bunch of monkeys running around.
Right. Exactly.
We took 65 kids to Brazil for a missions trip one time, and when we got there, we were at the beach, and the kids had never seen monkeys running around in the wild, but they were just running around in the wild, and they were really small, little teeny guys, and as cute as you wanted to go and pet them, the guys were standing there going, "Don't do it,
Don't do it."
Oh, I would be freaked out.
they'll jump on you and
Bite you.
eat your brains or something."
I'm
So-
good. Keep
Anyway.
'em away.
That's what's going on around the country. I have a super duper guest for you today, so let's jump in it and expand your search. My guest today is voted one of the 5 best speakers in the world by the 175,000 members of Toastmasters International. He was inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame. He's achieved all kinds of certified professional speaker awards. He is a good friend of my father-in-law, Bob Harrison. He speaks all over the world to companies like Ford, who actually contribute some of their success after they rejected the bailout, to my guest today. I'm so excited to have on the program to speak to us for the next 3 shows, Dr. Willie Jolley. Hey, Dr. Willie, good to have you with us today.
Well, thank you so much, Brent, for having me and for inviting me. And a good shout out to your father-in-law, my dear friend Bob, who has been a good friend. We traveled together on the Get Motivated tour for a number of years. And so I'm honored to be able to be on with you. And I begin all my speeches, all my programs, all my interviews the same way. I have only just a minute. Only 60 seconds in it. It's forced upon me. I can't refuse it. I didn't seek it. I didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. So I'm thankful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity to share with your listeners, your viewers, and those in your network how they can live their best life and do it with a confidence that they are living their godly wills on their futures and their successes.
Wow. Okay. So as you can tell, folks, we've got a real pro with us today that's really going to help us. I know that you really have spoken in front of everybody and so many places. Before we really get into the meat of the topic today, tell us how you got started speaking. How did you get started doing all that?
Yeah. Well, thank you. I am a singer by trade. I mean, I was a singer. So I was a nightclub singer for many years. singing in clubs in Washington, D.C. and up the East Coast, all the way up to Atlantic City. And I'd made a name for myself. These are some of the awards I won for Best Jazz Singer, Best Male Vocalist, Best Inspirational, Best Entertainer. So I made it my living as a singer, singing in nightclubs. I was doing great. People would line up at 8 o'clock for the 9 o'clock show, 10 o'clock for the 11 o'clock show.
Wow.
We were doing great. We had won all the awards. And one night I went into the nightclub. The club owner said, want to talk to you guys after the night show. I said, great. So I told the guys in the band, they want to talk. We've been selling out for months. We got standing room only audiences. We've won all the awards. We're about to get our raise. So I walked in his office that night. He said, you were great. The people loved you. I'm all excited. Yes, yes. He said, that's why it's hard for me to tell you what I got to tell you. The owners of the club have decided they got to get a better return on investment. And the only way to do that with a full nightclub is to lower the cost. The band's the biggest cost. There's something else going around the country that's filling up nightclubs that has standing room only audiences, and it's a lot cheaper than a band. We bought a karaoke machine. That was during the time of the karaoke craze. And I was shocked. I said, but we're selling out. What about my bills? And I learned that night nobody really cares about your bills, but you and the people you owe. And so I went home and told my bride, I said, look, I've got to do something else. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I've got to do something else. And I was actually in a state of depression because I'd worked so hard to build that club I was the opening act for that club when they opened, and we'd built it from nobody to a big success. And I, helped them make a lot of money, but I still got replaced because it was not a personal decision. It was a business decision, and I was depressed. A friend of mine gave me a motivational tape. I had never heard a motivational tape. And on that tape was a guy, great man of faith named Charlie Tremendous Jones. And he said, in 5 years, you'll be the same person you are today, except for two things. The people you meet who inspire you, and the books you read that empower you.
Wow.
And I said, wow, that's what I said. And it encouraged me, it motivated me to read. I had never read any books other than school books when I was in school. I never read any books intentionally or on my own vocation or anything. Only thing I read was sports pages. So I read a book, and that same friend who gave me the cassette gave me a book, Think and Grow Rich. And I read that book, and I read The Greatest Man in Babylon, or The Richest Man in Babylon, The Magic of Thinking Big. I just started getting a habit of reading and listening to more motivational programs. And I'll give you a roundabout to that. Charlie Tremendous Jones, not only was the person who gave me that quote, but years later, we were on the same program at the Crystal Cathedral, the men's conference, and I told him how that cassette had changed my life. And he said how my messaging, he had heard about me, and my messaging had inspired him. We went on to become good friends and went on to tour together. So that was one of those kind of strange things about life. Anyway, I started reading more books, listening to more tapes, and took a job while I was figuring out what I was going to do with the rest of my life with the Washington, D.C. public school system as a drug prevention coordinator. And it was during that year, as part of my job, I had to give speeches to little kids about staying away from drugs. And from the little kids, the teachers would say, wow, you were good. You were entertaining. Well, I was an entertainer. I just was an entertainer who had been given a message to talk about staying away from drugs. Well, the teacher said, can you come and talk to our teacher group about some of the motivational ideas? I said, I guess so. I'd go there and someone there would say, can you come to my church? We're having an event and I'd love for you to speak. I went to the church. Someone in the church would say, hey, I work for this company, this group, that group. We need to hear your message. We need your energy. And then Les Brown, the great motivational speaker, heard me speak and invited me to be on a tour he was putting together called the Music and Motivation Dream Team Tour, which featured Les Brown, Billy Preston, the great organist, Gladys Knight, the iconic singer, and they needed an opening act. And they said, you can do both, speak and sing, and we're going to choose you.
Wow.
So that gave me that opportunity. They introduced me to radio people and media people as part of the tour. I got a little radio show, and it got popular, got syndicated. I'm now on Sirius XM weekly. I have the #1 self-help show in the country on Sirius. Plus, I'm on Radio 1 daily, which is the largest African-American network. And then that led to a book publisher hearing me on the radio, calling my office saying, I heard something on the radio today that inspired me. Have you ever thought about writing a book? I said, no, I never thought about it. He said, let me make you an offer. I said, I just thought about it. And so I wrote a book called It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life that became a national bestseller. Then my second book was A Setback is a Setup for a Comeback that became a global bestseller, then turned setbacks into greenbacks, then An Attitude of Excellence. And now my latest book is with my wife, a marriage book. We've been married for 36 years, haven't had an argument in over 33 years. And the book tells what we learned to go from arguing to stop arguing and being loving. And it'd be like we're honeymooners. It's called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. And so all of that happened. And then in 1999, I was named one of the top 5 speakers in the world by Toastmasters, joining only 50 people has gotten that order. Les Brown, Nelson Mandela, Margaret Thatcher, Christopher Reeve, General Colin Powell. And then in 2005, I was inducted into Speaker Hall of Fame, and in 2013, named a legend of the speaking industry. And all of that happened because I had a setback. And that's what I wanted to say to everybody who's listening, that we're in the midst of setbacks. We're in the midst of a time like we've never seen in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And yet, I believe that out of this time, there are going to be some great comeback stories, but they don't just happen by chance. You must be intentional and have some specific direction and some specific principles that are part of your life that will help turn those setbacks in the comeback. So that's why I'm glad to be here today to be on with you.
And that was one of the reasons that when we were talking to Bob about you coming on, that this is really almost like this year was custom built for your message. I mean, This year has been filled for so many, all of us have faced certain things, but then people have had specific setbacks that have really rocked their world even further. And the thing that I really wanted to talk about for a few minutes here today, but we're going to have you for the next 3 shows, today, this one and then 2 more. I really wanted to talk about the setback, because some people hate. I mean, we all hate setbacks. Nobody likes to go through them, but they are part of life, aren't they?
They are part of life. You have had setbacks that have driven your life and driven your growth from the time you were born. Babies crawl around on their knees and hands, and one day they stand up on their own 2 feet for the first time, and what happens next? They fall down. They have a setback. But the parent understands the importance of that moment and says, get up, come to mommy, come to daddy, and the baby will get up and they will fall down again. And the parents say, do it again. Now, sometimes they fall on their backsides, but sometimes they fall on their face.
Yeah.
But the wise parent says, try again, do it again. Because they know if they never fall and get up, they never learn how to walk. They never fall and get up, they never learn how to run. They never fall and get up, they never learn how to maximize their potential. Well, many of us have been knocked down by these setbacks we're in. We've been pushed down. It's been uncomfortable. But the greater good is what comes from the result of getting through these setbacks to become the best you can be. So you've had setbacks all along the way, but they are part of what grow us into what we can be and what we should be. I like to tell this story, in fact, in my book, The Setback Setup for a Comeback, about a little boy going through a forest. He comes upon an emperor moth struggling to make the transformation from a moth to a butterfly. He looks at his struggles to get through the small opening in the cocoon. An hour goes by. He looks, it's struggling 2 hours. Finally, he takes out a penknife, cuts a slit in the cocoon. Out falls this bug that's neither a moth nor a butterfly. Has a big bloated body, small, shriveled, undeveloped wings. He says, fly, fly, you're supposed to fly. But it could not fly because his wings were undeveloped. He goes to get his grandfather. Grandfather, come. Why won't it fly? He said, son, what did you do? He said, I cut a slit to make it easy so it would not have to struggle. He said, that's where the mistake was made. See, it is in that struggle of pushing his big body through that small opening that it forces the fluid out the body into the wings. Without forcing that fluid out the body into the wings will never develop. Without developed wings, that butterfly cannot fly. And a butterfly that cannot fly will never soar and be all it was born to be. So I'm saying to everyone, you're going through a setback time. This is a challenging time. But if you can get through this with these principles I'm going to share with you over the next couple shows. If you can get through this and use these principles, not only will you soar, but you will fly to places and things that you've never considered before. Just like I learned to go from a broke, busted nightclub singer to becoming one of the top speakers in the world, and to go from literally making how do I say this nicely and diplomatically? Going from, here's a nice way to say it. I recently spoke, last year before the pandemic, spoke in Dubai. And I spoke for Johnson & Johnson, Dubai, Middle East, for their big sales conference. And I made more money in 1 hour speaking for that sales conference in Dubai than I used to make in 1 year.
Wow.
In my former employ.
Folks,
so
this is,
I just want to encourage people.
Yeah.
This is the best is yet to come.
This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and as you can tell, we have set the table now for the next 2 shows. Don't be afraid of these setbacks. We're going to talk to you about how to make a comeback in the next 2 shows. Willie, thanks for joining us today. We're going to be back with our other 2 shows. So stay tuned, folks. There's a whole lot more. And now let's take a chance to stop for directions. What a powerful word that we got today. And I'm telling you, this is just part 1 of the next 3 that are going to just really be impactful. But the thing I wanted to focus on today was the fact that setbacks are going to happen. Now, I know that 2020 has brought such setback for so many people that it is almost like it feels like it's more than that, because it has affected so many people, not just COVID, but the racial unrest and injustice, the election, the politics, the death of celebrities, the death of loved ones. It's been a really hard year. And the thing is so, with people losing their jobs and losing their uncertainty, normal, even everyday routines are out the door. But Jesus said some encouraging words in John chapter 16, verse 33. He says, I've told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world, you will have trouble. Now, I could stop right there and we could just talk about the fact that Jesus told us that trouble's coming. I know that a lot of times we live in our little bubbles of we think that everything is supposed to work so perfect for us. We never like to see a challenge because, we're just that good and we shouldn't have to face those kind of things. But Jesus told us that in this life, we're going to have troubles. Setbacks are a part of it. And unfortunately, a year like this, even though there's more, the thing is it hasn't destroyed the world. It hasn't destroyed your life. It hasn't taken you down. You're still above the ground. You're still breathing. And guess what? Its worst wasn't good enough. But here's what Jesus said. He said, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. This is just another part of life that if you'll stick with it, you'll sit where Jesus sat, and that's the part that overcomes. That's going to wrap it up for the show today. I want to thank Jody and Luke for another great broadcast. I want to thank Willie Jolley for dropping the bombs of truth on us today. You don't want to miss part 2 that's coming up, where he's going to expand on that and talk about how you can experience a comeback. I hope you found what you were looking for today as you took the time to expand your search and stop for directions. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks for joining us today. Connect with us on @expandingyoursearch on Facebook and Instagram and @expandingsearch on Twitter. Relive any of our episodes on YouTube. We're available wherever podcasts are found, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. You can also download the Direction Ministries app on iOS, Android, Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. Take some time today to expand your search and stop for directions.